Hello and welcome back to another episode of Internal Rambles. This is your girl, Rachelle. If you are new, welcome, and if you're returning, thank you for tuning back in. Internal Rambles is an eclectic podcast. My normal content releases every Thursday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My normal content can be everything from my life, career, relationships, goal setting, trending topics, entertainment. My bonus content tends to be my reality recaps. I am currently reviewing and recapping season 15 of Married at First Sight in San Diego. I will be recapping a few episodes at a time of Ready to Love. And then also, I do have a series of my top 5 albums from my favorite artists. My most recent installment of that is on the artist Stain. I also have my top 5 albums from Toni Braxton and of Jodeci. My bonus content releases whenever I am able to release it. Usually that is towards the weekend, so like Saturdays, Sundays. Subscribe to me wherever you get your podcast content, whether that is Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Amazon. I also do release on YouTube. Just a little disclaimer about YouTube. My content releases sometimes with a couple hours delay over there. But I do release my audio on YouTube. You can interact with me over there. Please like, comment, subscribe. Give me a review wherever you do get your podcast content. Let me know how I'm doing and what you want to hear from me in the future. So this podcast episode is just going to be kind of, I'm going to do some relationship questions that I found on the net. I am a therapist by trade, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but I will start off this podcast with my first initial normal segment, which is Rachelle's Rants or Rachelle's Raves. Rachelle Rants is something that I'm upset about, I'm frustrated about, something that's getting on your girl's nerves. Or Rachelle's Raves, something that I'm feeling positive about, that I'm optimistic about, something great that has occurred. And so this week on Internal Rambles, I have a rave. And my rave is just, I had a really great day recently with my mother. If you know anything about me, or not, I will tell you. I only have one living parent, and so it's just always really important to me that I spend time with her. Unfortunately, our schedules are very, they don't match very well. We don't have a lot of off days at the same time. So whenever I can get some time with her and it's not like, you know, a drive-by situation where it's like, okay, 15 minutes, okay, I gotta go by. It is really special. So I had a really great day with my mom recently. We went shopping, and in my head, I had thought that, I was like, man, we should go to lunch too. But I didn't say anything to her. It was just like, we really had, like, it was like a day of shopping for us. And then, towards the end of the shopping day trip, I asked her, I was like, hey, Mom, you want to go to lunch? And she was like, yeah, you know, I would love to. She's like, you know, I'm having a really great time. Like, isn't this great that we get to spend this time together? I was like, yeah, you know. So she really enjoyed herself, you know, and she let me know that in the moment. And so we just, you know, we bounced around to a couple of stores. We had lunch, and it was a great time. You know, we cackled and hee-heed, and, you know, we spent a lot of money. But it was planned, so we knew kind of what our budget was. And yeah, it was a great time. So my rave is just, you know, quality time with family members. No day is promised, and it's just, it was a nice day, because I don't get to see, I used to see my family and my parents and all the time, but it's just like me and in particular with me and my mother, it's like we don't have a lot of off days, like I said, at the same time. So it's just like we sometimes have to like plan, like, okay, you off this day? When are you off? No, not off this. Okay, you off that day? No, I'm not. Okay, you off this day? Yep, I'm off this day. Okay, let's go do. Like, we really have to plan. Like, that's how much our schedules are so mismatched. So, that's my rave. Just, I had a really great day with my mom, and just, I really, a lot of stuff is going on. So I really needed that quality time just to kind of relax and chill and just like take me away from everything. So that's my rave. Is just, I love my mom, and just I'm appreciative of those moments that I get to spend with her, and I'm thankful that I do have a great relationship with her. So that's my rave of the podcast today. So at the end of this podcast, I am going to make an announcement or just kind of share some of the upcoming content that you will see in September and October. I know that's kind of, if you know anything about me, you would know that I am a planner, honey. I mean, I know if the pandemic has taught us anything, it would be that you can't plan everything, but there's a reason why I have to plan some content for September and October. So I will talk a little bit about it. I won't announce everything specifically, it's got to be a surprise, but I will discuss some upcoming content at the end of this podcast, so look out for that. But nonetheless, this episode I am going to talk about some relationship topics. I am a therapist by trade. Disclaimer off the bat, this is not professional advice. I am not giving professional advice. So don't go back to your friends, your family, your significant other and be like, I was listening to that Internal Rambles podcast, and Rachelle, the therapist, had said, No, she didn't, because I'm not giving you professional advice. But I am coming from a knowledge base. So, but this really is going to be kind of person to person. Some of it is going to be kind of funny, of course, because this is entertaining. But some of the content or the questions will be because I've been in the field and I am coming from experience. So I am going to bounce around on social media and just talk about some relationship topics that I have seen on the net. So I am going to play this video that I keep seeing on Instagram, and I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So I've never played a video from Instagram, so let's see how this works.
Y'all gonna cancel me, but today marks the day that I will be dating outside of my race. And I know what you're about to say, aren't you pro-black? I am. But as a dark-skinned black woman, the most hate I get is from my own men. And me restricting myself to only dating black men is giving me little to no options. Because there's only like a small group of black men who actually like women like me. And trust me, I've been trying to educate black men about colorism, futurism, texturism my whole damn life. I do it on my platform every day. But a lot of them choose to stay dense and ignorant. And I'm sorry, but you're not about to ask me to wait for these men to stop being colorist. I cannot wait any longer for these men to stop the self-hatred. I want to go where I'm wanted. I'm tired of sitting in places where I'm not wanted and try to convince the people that I should be desired. I'm sorry, but I'm done with that. So from this day forward, Shakira will be looking outside of her race when it comes to dating. Not saying I'm not going to date black men. I definitely will. But to expand my options, yes, I will be dating outside of my race. Unapologetically. Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh my goodness. So the first time that I saw this, I was like, okay, whatever. And then it keeps popping up and I'm like, okay. Here's the thing. I'm down with the swirl. I don't mind. I don't have restrictions based off of race. I love black men. But am I okay with dating someone outside of my race? Sure. I don't feel compelled to do it, but I'm not against it. I guess my issue with the video is, girl, who cares? I mean, why are you making a whole announcement? Do what you like, do what you need, what you feel you need to do. at the end of the day, if you want to try interracial dating, go try it. It's, you know, the thing about it is she mentions that she hasn't felt, and I'm paraphrasing, so listen, I understand because you heard her what she said. She hasn't felt accepted or understood by black men or loved by black men, but you're announcing that you're going to interracially date. Like, are you wanting acceptance for your decision now to interracially date? Like, just do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be, if you're comfortable in your skin, you're comfortable in your skin. If you feel like the ones that you're dating who happen to be African American men are not accepting you, then okay. You know, and she says she's not saying she's totally given up on dating black men, but why the announcement? Why the dramatics? Go do what you need to do. You know, at the end of the day, love is love. Find out where, if you feel like that's the next move for you, okay, we don't need announcements. You know what I'm saying? Like, go do what's best for you. Now, and some of the comments were, you know, people don't keep the same energy when black men date white women. And that's true. Like, there's a lot, when a black man, a typically famous show with a white woman, there's a lot of bashing that goes on. They don't ask for permission, and she's not asking for permission, but they don't make no announcements. They just pop out, you know. Do what you gotta do, boo. At the end of the day, whoever's going to accept you, it's going to be whoever's going to accept you. It's not black men, white men, orange men, green men. It really is the person. It really truly is. And there are, yes, it is true. There are some black men who they don't want to date black women. We all know this. But there's people from other races that won't date black women either. Like, it really is just preference. But we don't need the announcement or the dramatics. Go where you are loved. Excuse me. At the end of the day, if you're being unapologetically you and authentically you, you will find someone that's going to love you for you. You don't have to prove why you're so great and why you're so awesome and why you're not the poster child for black women. You ain't the poster child for me. So at the end of the day, go do what you feel like you need to go do. Don't make no announcements about it. That's not an announcement to make. Oh, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna dip my toe in some other waters. Girl, I don't care. So that's my thing that I didn't care for. Like, we do not care, bruh. Go do what you gotta do. And there are people that don't care for interracial dating, but they not the one that's got to be laid up with you, boo. Do what you have to do for you. The long and the short of that is the announcement is 100% unnecessary. So that's what I think about that. So something that I have seen in a couple of places, and one place is I am currently reviewing and recapping Married at First Sight season 15, and one of the married couples, Stasia, asked her husband would he be open to going to counseling, because she's currently in counseling and just really feels like it's a great thing, something that she wants to do with her husband. And he was kind of like, you want to go to counseling before there's an issue? And so then just kind of popping around and just looking at some posts on Instagram for some relationship podcasts. One of the questions that came up was, is it beneficial to go to couples counseling before an issue arises? And this is not professional advice, but I am a therapist by trade. I have done family therapy, and I'm not giving professional advice. So this is just really my personal perspective. And I think couples counseling is healthy. If I could pick, like if I had, I always wanted to do couples counseling like solely. I've done family therapy, but I did family therapy in the midst of other things. I would love to just do like family therapy. I don't know if I would do it now, I guess I would say. But there was a time where I would have loved to have been a family therapist / couples counselor. I find it really interesting. I think it's very rewarding. I see the benefit in it. And I do think that it's let me start this off. It's healthy to go to counseling in general. You don't have to be at rock bottom or severely depressed or whatever to go see a therapist. It's healthy to just go see a therapist in general. It's a great way to process things, to work on personal goals when you're just kind of feeling a little bit out of whack or whatever. And so it's great to go start and find a therapist that you feel comfortable with and you mesh well with, so that when the you know what hits the fan, you already have built a relationship with the counselor. They know you, they know your history, they know your background, they know where you've been through, they know where you have been at. And so you're not really building that relationship. That relationship is already there. So when things do get rough, that counselor's already in tune with you. That therapist is already in tune with you. And they can be like, well, and they can see, you can go, because sometimes people come in and they be like, okay, I'm doing great. But there are nonverbal cues. You don't look so great today. Now, obviously there's a difference because with the pandemic, a lot of therapy has become virtual, so we have to rely on what people are saying, kind of their voice, their inflection, kind of what's happening, situations, etc. But we may know kind of how you tend to react to things. Well, this is different because typically, why is it so different now, right? Okay. So, I think it's totally healthy to start couples counseling right away. It doesn't mean that you're concerned about the relationship, that there could be problems. To me, that says that you care about the relationship, that you want to make sure that there's success in the relationship. You want to, come out the gate running in a positive way. And I think when you start couples counseling and maybe everything is fine, you don't have to go weekly. When there's a problem, yes, increase the frequency. But it's just to have that relationship, to have that support, and some people, they may not go the traditional therapist route. They may have, some pastors do marital pastoral counseling. So you may go to your pastor, but whoever. But I think it's healthy just to start that process. I'm not saying you got married on January 5th and you go see a counselor at January 7th. But at some place early on, sure. I think it's very healthy, just because you're going to have, every relationship is not going to be positive, hunky-dory. You're going to have those disagreements. It's that neutral sounding board, that neutral voice that can help you navigate issues. You're not going to your mama, his cousin, people that know you, that there could be biases there. The really positive thing about therapists is they are the neutral, they should be. Let me preface that. Let me change that. They should be the neutral, unbiased voice. And therapists are not perfect. We may not always see everything the way that it truly is, but it can be helpful. So, long story short, again, I am a huge cheerleader for therapy early on in relationships. And I will say this. I would say marriages, or long-term relationships. Like if you've been with your man for 7 years, y'all ain't been married yet, child, go see a counselor or something. I actually have more to say about that if y'all not married yet, but I think it's a very healthy situation and a very healthy thing to do. So I am all for it. So here is something from this podcast called Relationship Restored, and it says, if you tell your friends and family only negative things about your significant other, they will never, I'm sorry, I talk fast, so fast sometimes I stumble over my words. Let me slow down. If you tell your friends and family only negative things about your significant other, they will inevitably have a negative perception of that person. Do you agree or not agree? So I would say that I agree with this, but I have not experienced this. And I think it's like, this is why I would say, going back to why having, like, if you're like, don't wait until like the what hits the fan and you're thinking about breaking up or getting divorced to go see a counselor or a therapist. But this is why having a therapist is so helpful, because they're the unbiased kind of, like, the wool is not over their eyes. They're the clear thinking party in this equation. Because, yeah, if you're constantly telling your mama, your sister, your cousin, your auntie, all he do is do this, and all he does is go out, hang with his friends, and he won't, I don't know who he be talking to at I'm just making up stuff. I don't know who he be talking to at 1 o'clock in the morning, and he be getting short with me. He almost be cussing me out, and there's this chick that he worked with that be calling at all times of the night. And, if you're only telling your loved ones negative things, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, Sean cheating on you, child. But you're not telling them that, what, you wasn't feeling well. Sean, for like 5 days, Sean took care of everything. You didn't lift a toe, a finger, nothing. Or Sean pays all the bills. Or Sean, y'all going through it, but he's really trying to work on things. And Sean actually wants to go to counseling. You the one who don't want to go to counseling. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's a biased thing. So they're going to have negative perspectives because you're only feeding them the negative. They're not hearing maybe what Sean is doing good. And they may, when Sean is with them, yeah, Sean's on best behavior, as, probably I hope Sean is when you're with the family. But you're just telling him, yo, Sean be acting up all the time. Yeah. But I would say there was a situation. I had a boyfriend, man, my mother and my father, God bless his dead, never met. I don't think he ever met any of my boyfriends. He saw one of my boyfriends, but I never introduced him to him. And I'm not gonna get into that story, like why he saw him and never met him. But you had to be something special to meet my father. What? My dad? I don't think I know the situation when I'm talking about. My dad was near, but I did not let this man meet my father. No. So anyways, but my mother has met some of my boyfriends. But anyways, and she loved one of my boyfriends. Child, I don't know what she liked about him. Okay. And I didn't give her specifics. I was like, Ma, he ain't the one. What? I'm gonna call him. I want to give him a good name. I'm gonna call him Dalvin. Yeah. Hi, Jodeci. I'm like, Ma, Dalvin is not. I knew Dalvin wasn't the one. I was like, Ma, Dalvin is not the one. What? Nice old Dalvin. Dalvin is so nice, girl. What? I was like, Ma, Dalvin is not the one. So I wasn't telling her anything negative. I wasn't telling her what was going on. So I guess maybe that's probably why she was like, what, girl, you tripping? What? And I think she knew how I was with people too. Like, I was like, Dalvin is not it. Trust me. I didn't give her specific situations, but she didn't, just off the strength of me being her daughter, she was like, Dalvin's so nice, girl. What? Yeah, Dalvin. He ain't gonna be around long, ma. That's why I say I don't know that from experience, but yes, I will say that, if you keep telling your family negative situations, they gon' believe that the partner is not the one. They are going to have a negative perception of that person for sure, because you painted that picture of them. last but not least, and this is not an answer, I'm just gonna be honest and right here. There's always these things like, how do you get over a breakup? That is so individual to the person. It depends. There's so many factors. That's why I say I don't have an answer for that, because there's so many factors that come into play. Like, what kind of breakup are we talking about? Were you guys together for 3 months? 3 years? Do y'all have kids together? Were you married? Like, what was going on? Was it a very volatile relationship? Like, how much did you think this person was gonna be your husband and or wife, like, or your husband or wife? I always, whenever I see that, the question of like, how do you get over a breakup? How do you tell a group of people how to get over a breakup? There's so many factors. You cannot tell a group of people how to get over a breakup, overall. Now, there are some things that can help, of course, but it's such an individualistic process. Some people get over breakups easily, like no matter what. For me, I really haven't had anyone that I was like, I thought they was the one. So breakups have been like super easy for me. But there's other people that it's like ripping their heart out of their chest. That's not an easy process. Definitely you have to spend time with yourself. You have to heal. Some people got to go through therapy, and that's okay. You have to fall in love with yourself again. You have to, sometimes a breakup literally is like a mourning, like a death of a relationship. So I say all that to say this: you can't give an overall like answer on how to deal with a breakup. There are some things that can help, but it is a very individualistic process. But whichever way you do, please heal from that breakup before you get into the next relationship. Do not bring that baggage. Oh Lord. Do not bring that baggage into your next relationship, because you're setting that relationship up either for failure or just a tumultuous time. Heal from them past hurts before you get into it with that next man or that next woman. So whatever you got to do for you, do it before you get into that next relationship. And there are some, I have known some people that they're always in a relationship. And it's like, how do you do that? How do you just boom, 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 boom? I know you haven't. I know you bringing some baggage. You with, John, and then you with Tom, and then you with Derek, and then you with Sean, and then you with Tyrone, child, how many bags you got? Like, you just collecting. If you don't heal and let some of that baggage go before you get into the next relationship, there's someone that I used to feel bad when she would break up with one and then I'd be like, oh, you about to be in for it, bruh. Because I know that she's not a bad person, but I just know that he has to pay for some of the, if there is any past negative whatever, he paying for it, because she don't give herself time to heal. She has to be in a relationship, and anyone that can't just sit with self and just be okay with yourself, there's something there. Heal from what you gotta heal from, and then move on, because I'm telling you, it will be for the betterment of the next relationship and for you, most importantly. Please heal from your past relationships before you get into the next one. Thank you. Okay, so we're wrapping up this podcast episode. Thank you for listening. I have a few things to talk about. So first, my entertainment recommendation that I have been doing actually fairly often. There's a new game show with Keke Palmer as a host. They have revamped the Password game show from back in the day. Keke Palmer is hosting. It's on NBC, but you can get it on Hulu. And Jimmy Fallon, I think he's just like a temporary or a permanent guest. I don't know, but there's already 2 episodes that have been released. One was with John Hamm and the other one with Heidi Klum. And Keke Palmer, she is so talented. I mean, she can act, she can sing, she can dance, she can host a show, honey. And it's a really cute, fun show, game show. That's my entertainment recommendation. Check it out if you want to. It's a great time. So check out Password with Keke Palmer as the host. Okay, so I said that I was going to discuss some upcoming content. So this is Internal Rambles, so please bear with me and go on this ride with me. Okay, thanks. So, Internal Rambles, we are in the 2nd season of Internal Rambles, and Internal Rambles the 2nd season will end in October. My anniversary of my first year of being a podcaster will be October 15th of this year, Lord willing. And I already have a plan for that episode. I am so excited. I got it planned. I got it together. I had to reach out to, and talk to some individuals. Okay. But yeah, that episode's planned. So I'm excited. It's something that I've been wanting to do. I thought I was going to do it in season 2, but essentially it will kind of be season 2, but it'll really be in season 3, the beginning of season 3. But I'm excited. So I'm not going to announce what that is because it's a surprise, but it's exciting and I cannot wait. When you will get a nice little peek inside of your girl Rachelle, and it's exciting. So October 15th, be on the lookout for a very exciting anniversary episode of Internal Rambles. So excited. So September, I've already mentioned it's a pretty busy month. I already have a pre-recorded episode. I will be doing some traveling in September. It's my birthday month. So for my birthday week episode, that's going to be my next check-in episode. So there hasn't really been, I don't remember when I think my last check-in episode was in June. So that'll be like 3 months. Not a lot's been going on, but there has been some stuff going on. So I'll do my next check-in episode, some goal setting. We'll talk about, some upcoming stuff, maybe, sort of. I don't know. I haven't planned it out, but that'll probably be, so this is loose right here. This is kind of loose, right? But that's the plan. The week of that I'm traveling, that episode's already recorded. My birthday week, we'll do, we'll chat, I'll sip on something and we'll have a grand old time and we'll do a little check-in episode. And then, I've been mulling this over in my head because I have been really intentional with this podcast. This podcast has been really helpful, I will say, because when I say I'm going to do something, I usually do it. So I feel like if I announce it, I'm going to have to do it. So let me announce this now. I am going to try a new segment in September. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to hold out on what it is. I'm going to tell you right now, but I will say if I can't keep up with it, I can't keep up with it. So we're going to try it. And I hope that you come along with me and we'll see how it goes. So I have been mentioning periodically how I have been really wanting to get back into reading. I have 2 favorite authors. One is Michael Connelly. My favorite type of genre of literature is crime fiction. I love Michael Connelly. Michael Connelly is the shiznit, okay? He has a couple movies have been adapted from his books, and actually there's been a show that was adapted from one of his books from his main character Bosch. That was an Amazon show, and now it's on. They have it finalized on Amazon, and so now they've kind of reinvented it a little bit, but it's still the same character. It's still Bosch, and now it's on the Freevee channel. So I love Michael Connelly. And my other favorite author is Christopher Rice, but I will say about him, he's kind of switched up how his type of writing. So some of his newer books I have not read, but I have read multiple of his books though. So within the last year, I have not been able to finish a darn book. Maybe I finished one. I will start books, but I don't finish them. So this is not going to be a book club, but I want to challenge myself, and I hope maybe you come along with me. You know, I already do entertainment recommendations of shows. I do my top 5 albums for my favorite artists. So quarterly, approximately, and I won't be counting, but approximately, I want to try to, at least within a year's time, I want to start a book, give myself about 3 months to read it, and then talk about it, review it, kind of like book club type stuff where, you know, you answer questions and all that stuff. I already know what book I want to do because it's a book that I bought last summer and I started it. I'm about a quarters of a way finished. Like 1/4, okay? And I haven't finished it. It's a great book. It actually was a New York Times bestseller, an Amazon bestseller. Super funny, super quirky book. I have Kindle, so I have like the ebooks, you know. But I actually purchased the physical copy of this book because I would take it. I prefer physical books. And so I would take it with me to appointments, and then I stop, and that's when I stopped reading it. So I already know what the first book is. So starting in September, I don't know when it's going to be, I will announce the book, and then I hope maybe you've read it, I don't know, but I hope if you haven't, you'll read it with me, and then I'll announce when I will talk about it, and hopefully maybe we can have a discussion about it, or I don't know, maybe it'll help you read some new books too. I will not pick books from Michael Connelly or Christopher Rice. I won't pick books from my favorite artists, my favorite writers. There's a couple of writers that I have read multiple books from. I won't pick books that I typically would normally read, or like I would say from authors I typically would read, and there's about 4 authors I've read multiple books from. So I will try to read some things that I wouldn't normally read and step outside the box. So that is my plan starting in September. I'm not going to wait until October. Because I think because I am traveling, I can read while I'm on the plane or whatever, and yeah, I've already started it, so you know, I don't have to find a book because I already have a book, and I'm not very far in. Like I said, I'm only like a quarter of the way in the book, so I'm not very far. So that is the plan. So I hope maybe you'll read with me. We'll see. But if not, that's gonna be kind of my checkpoint. And like, girl, you gotta read some books now. Stop playing. So that is the plan for this podcast upcoming. So I don't know what I'm gonna call that. Maybe I should give it a little segment name. There's no name for it right now, but yeah, some upcoming kind of book. It's not gonna be a book club, but literature recommendations. Read along with your girl. My birthday episode, life check-in, and then my anniversary episode is gonna be thebomb.com. So thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I love that. I can't believe the reason why all of this is happening is like I was like, oh my goodness, my year podcast is coming up. I was like, I've been doing this for almost a year. Yes, I have. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for listening. The song of the podcast, I think this has already been a song of the podcast before, I think, but I don't even know why. I have been obsessed with this song. I have been listening to it so much. So if it has previously been a song of the podcast, well, here you go again. It's a song of the podcast again. I have been in heavy rotationing, if that was a word, of Carl Thomas's Emotional. I have no idea why. Child, I gotta listen to that song every day, multiple times. I just love it. I don't know why it's been a heavy rotation, but This podcast episode, a song that has been in heavy rotation for your girl, is Emotional by Carl Thomas. Listen, like I said, I appreciate all you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Tell your mother, sister, cousin, brother, uncle about your girl. Let them in on this great content over here. Listen to my previous content. Subscribe to me wherever you get your podcast episodes from: Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and on YouTube. I do release my audio over there. Interact with me. Leave me a review. Give me a like, a thumbs up if you're liking anything that I do. And until the next episode, take care of yourselves. And if you are able, take care of each other. And I'll be talking to you soon.